Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome rock and roll biohazard, Mr. Adrian!
There you go. Thanks for coming out tonight. I do really appreciate that. I know that taking time to come out to see a show is a big deal when you can stick at home and watch Channel 9 and smoke a bag of dope. Thank you. Do you want to go for a ride? Yeah, sweet. I've got a story to tell. It gets pretty fucking hairy in the middle, but it ends really, really well. Are we up for that tonight?
Yeah.
Sweet! Alright, well I better introduce myself. My name is Adrian from the clan Calera. I was born on the shores of Lake Burley Griffin in 1970 and I am immortal. I have been shot. I have been shot at. I have been stabbed. I have been stabbed at. I have been run into, run over and run down by 2 trams and a car. Not once, it's sequential. I have been poisoned, which is different to ODing. ODing you do yourself. Poisoning happens from someone else. I've been poisoned 3 times. You think, don't eat there again. I have been electrocuted 5 times. Knife in the toaster warnings are real. I've been asphyxiated twice. Those soup bag warnings are real. I have been drowned twice. I have run a car into a body of water and been trapped inside under that body of water twice. You think after the first time, handbrake. And I have been buried alive 1.5 times. I have fallen off a 1, 2 and a 3-storey building and a plane. The aeroplane, of course, was on the tarmac at the time, and I was pissed, so it doesn't really count, I say. My heart has stopped a total of 6 times, and I have been hospitalised 66 times with different injuries and illnesses, and I have had 26 near-death experiences. The last 2 occurred not very long ago. We're not going to talk about any of that. We don't have time. We don't have time to talk about how I got shot by Iraqis before both Gulf Wars. Trendsetter. We don't have time to talk about all my gang fighting youth days and how I had to plead with Vito to leave the frickin' knife in, you tool. We're not going to talk about all the ODs that I deliberately set up so that my friend could pretend to be a doctor and revive me. Not very smart, but very young. We're not going to talk about any of that stuff. What we're going to talk about tonight is a connected series of events where I got very, very sick and died a couple of times and got better. So that's what we're up to tonight. Before we get going on that, I would like to introduce to you co-star of the evening, the busiest comic in showbiz history. He has to impersonate every doctor I've ever seen ever in my life, which amounts to about 66, so he's a very busy boy. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please warmly welcome the fabulous Reverend Dr. Tim Arrows. No pressure at all. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to confer with my friend here. Reverend Doctor, I've seen this audience. I like them. Your assessment?
I think they're absolutely gorgeous. These are people I want to spend time with. They're here on time, which is exquisite organisational skills. They're here at all, which is exquisite taste. What do you want?
I couldn't ask for more. I'm thinking about taking them home. If we laid down paper, we could have a cupboard full of them. I like it. I say, Reverend Doctor, would you be so kind as to set up the first doctor-patient encounter?
With all due respect.
Thank you, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't always like this. I wasn't always a manky cripple. There was a time when I was that most noble and magnificent of all things, a young comedian on the make. I can't tell you how glorious the rockstar lifestyle is, ladies and gentlemen. It is everything that the media cracks it up to be. And when they say, oh, it's wall-to-wall sex and drugs, that's not right. That's not a correct assessment. It's wall-to-wall and ceiling-to-floor sex and drugs. It's a sensational, mind-blowing experience. Me and the missus were sitting down doing the stats on my career. I was 20 years. I'd done 2,500 gigs in that time. It's not too bad. Roughly, in that time, it wasn't bad going. Biggest gig ever was in Bathurst, New South Wales. Longest gig ever was in Canberra for a kiddies charity. Oh, the Bathurst, New South Wales gig was 5,500 people in the one room. Noisy. The longest gig was a kiddies charity in Canberra. It was 15 and a half hours. I was emceeing that, and I was amped out of my mind, having a lot of fun there. And I commented that the kiddies looked great with their elephant masks on, only to be embarrassingly told that's just me. Sorry about that. Anyway, next act is the guy with the sun. The weirdest gig I ever did was in Darwin, after I fell off the plane. It was a 60th birthday party. This guy had thrown himself a magnificent 60th birthday party. He'd bought 4 comedians, including me, 2 indie bands from Triple J, and a circus actor, you know, fire and juggling and fireworks and everything. And we had a whole band backline of which all the big amps and all the stuff, with roadies going around with arse crack, giving it a bit of 1, 2, 1, 2. All of this happened in his lounge room. There was him, his wife, and his son. That was it. He was having a ball. He was having a great time. They just sat in lounge chairs the entire 3 hours, and he's going, yeah, yeah, and they're just going, these other two are going. He paid up. It must have cost him upwards of 40 grand, but he paid up, and I was talking to the band member later going, is this the weirdest thing you've ever done? Yep. I went on 16 tours. Touring is so much fun. It is everything that you can want it to be. Touring, a lot of people complain about touring. You know, you see on the interviews, touring's really hard. Fucking bullshit. Touring's wonderful. It's just excellent. You get taken to places you'd never go to see amazing things by really nice people who pay you on a daily basis. You get a per diem payment, which is basically saying, here, have more drugs. And you get treated really well, and your chore at the end of the day is to make people laugh for an hour. Oh, that's hard. It's not exactly fucking coal mining, is it? And the worst thing that can happen to you on tour is when you wake up in a motel room and you don't know where you are. And a lot of people go, oh, woe is me, please stab parts. And it's like bullshit. It's an attitude test. Right? If you don't know where you are, then clearly it's brilliant because I am the comic who knew too much. In the night they have erased my mind. Can I decode motel breakfast before check-out time? And fall into the evil clutches of tour manager. So, comedian, I see you blew checkout time again, you fucking bastard. We hate you. Maybe tonight we stick you on seconds in the second bracket. Yes, I think so. After the unfortunate comedian with the shit material. Yeah. The one who abuses the audience and throws the feces around. Yes, that one. Brings them back, Petal, wins them back. It's great. Touring is marvellous. And then the best gig I ever did was, and it was a toss-up, but it was definitely Byron Bay. So I'd gigged in this place before. It was a music festival, but we had a comedy tent. It was about 1,100 people in the comedy tent. I had just done my first ever encore. I was feeling great. I was coming off stage. The MC/promoter of the event goes, you did well. The guy behind you doesn't want to get up. And I'm going, oh, that's nice. And he says, no, the guy behind you is not getting up. you've got to go back on stage and stretch until I go to the airport and pick up another comic. And I'm going, different. So I get back up on stage and the audience are going, hey, it was cool to see you and you did great, but you had your go, now fuck off. And I think in this case, honesty is always the best policy, and I've gone, the punts behind me has shat himself and died. It's going to be me till the guy goes to the airport and back, please don't throw bottles. And they've gone, well, make us laugh. I've gone through the rest of my material, which was 5 minutes, and I've gone, fuck. And then I've started to think back to my childhood. It's a Martian toilet. It's a brain sucker. I'm just dragging anything out of the box here. I'm trying to think of Christmas cracker jokes. Why the long face? Because the club got clubbed to death in a... I don't know. And I'm starting to tell stories about a dangerous walk down the shops, and finally the audience is starting to go with me. I'm on stage for another hour. The guy comes racing back. It was great. It was like a cop drum. The car just skids in past the tent. They both bolt out. And I'm going, yeah. And he's going, stretch a little bit more. I'm going, I'm going to kill you. New comic gets it together and he says, now. And I'm going, thank you. I get off stage and he says, wait there. Introduces the next bloke, comes back and says, you are freaking brilliant, thank you. And I'm going, oh yes, cool, shit happens. He says, no, let me pay your bonus. I'm going, yes. I'm expecting about $800 for this gig. He gives me like $1,000. I'm going, sweet, $200 bonus, excellent. And he says, no, I want to show my appreciation in the way that comics understand, in cash. And I'm going, yes. He puts 2,000 more bucks in my hand. I'm holding $3,000 in my hand. I am the richest boy in the world! And then he says, you did me a solid, let me do you one. Puts his hand in his pants and brings out an ounce of cocaine. Gives it to me and I'm gone, there is a God. And so I leave this tent with a head full of cocaine and a heart full of love. And then this pretty dancing hippie girl goes, you've got to come with me to a party. And I go, yes, because I'm having that kind of night. And then we go into the hinterland to a farmhouse. There's about 200 people there. They're naked. It's an orgy. Yes. It's everything that comedians' lifestyle should be. So I'm going nuts here at this place. And I look through the corridor of arms and legs and body parts and I see my girlfriend has turned up. So I'm going, oh, she's giving a bit of, coffee, sure. And so we catch up because we've been travelling differently. It was that kind of relationship. And we're swapping stories and then someone comes around going, sunrise. Now, Byron Bay is the most easterly point of the mainland of Australia, and they used to have this ritual where they would go and meet the sun rising by skinny dipping in the bay. And so we're all sort of bobbing in the water there and it's nice and warm, it's lovely. And then the sun comes up and the sky turns all kinds of pink and it's really, really pretty. And I'm looking at my girlfriend and we're having a really good deep chat. And then the sun breaches the water and it's all on fire and crimson and gold and it's just wonderful, it's just gorgeous. And I'm going, brain, I know we haven't been on speaking terms for a while, but remember this is what we call a peak moment. And just as I'm thinking that, a fucking dolphin jumps over her head. So, to be honest, it takes a little bit nowadays to make a gig really swing, you know. So you get in a picture. I moved to Melbourne with a new girlfriend and she's extraordinarily pretty and clever. And I get in there and I've got this day job washing bottles. I'm working for ABC and Foxtel and I'm doing bits and pieces for 10. I'm ghosting for someone on 9 and I'm talking to 9 and 7 about my own TV show. Right, life is good. I'm doing this day job washing bottles and I was basically being paid to exercise because I used to be a very big boy, like very, very big, very strong. When I was at uni, my party trick was to lift up the back of the utes. When they were trying to get away from parties so they couldn't leave. You know, it's like, shut up, he likes it. Very strong. And I was getting sore ankles, but this made sense because I was working on cold, wet concrete all day. Then I was getting sore knees and elbows. Now, I'll pause the tape here because this is not a murder mystery. This is not a whodunit. We know what happens. I contract rheumatoid arthritis. It's an autoimmune disease. It's basically your white blood cells attacking you. They eat the cartilage around your joints and they make the joints swell up to the size of your head. In some cases, they can also do nerve damage. In some cases, they can flip your body chemically into chronic pain. I was lucky I got all three. The whole time this was going on, myself and my girlfriend thought that this was going to be a temporary thing, that we were going to go back to normal, that everything was going to be okay, everything was going to go back to normal very shortly. I go see the GP, he's not happy. He says, go and see the rheumatology department at Royal Melbourne Hospital, which I do. I get in there, there's a 2-hour wait, and I meet this guy.
Mr. Cialia.
Okay, so that's pronounced Calais. Yeah.
Now, what seems to be the problem?
Well, I was thinking since we did all those tests and reaction things and everything, and you're the doctor, I was actually going to ask you, what seems to be the problem? So, what do you call that? Hospital cream and beige pine?
Yeah, we're fairly certain you developed a form of arthritis. We're not sure which one yet. That will have an effect on treatment. We'll know more within a month. Nurse will make an appointment for you to return here in 4 weeks' time.
Right. Okay. Right. Listen. Okay. Hang on. Whoa back. What did we achieve just then? I was thinking that you would be moving on to making this go away. So what just happened then?
This, you see, has been a patient review.
Right, and
You've been reviewed. Nurse will make an appointment for you to return in 4 weeks' time, and look on the bright side, in many of these cases the arthritis simply vanishes of its own accord, often within 6 weeks.
So 4 weeks later, I come back. Yeah, Doc. Oh, so my hands have stopped working altogether, which is weird when I go to the toilet, you know, jokes. And I was just thinking, how are we going with everything?
Reviewed!
So 4 weeks later, I come back. It's getting like frickin' Groundhog Day, and I'm starting to fucking get a little bit upset here.
You have to look on the bright side. In many of these cases, the arthritis simply vanishes of its own accord, often within 6 weeks.
Okay, so it's been 3 months. 5, if you count the time that it took to get in to see you. So this isn't going away, is it?
Well, it appears to be seronegative rheumatoid arthritis.
Right. Can you cure that?
Well, unfortunately, it is a chronic condition, and in the fullness of time and space, given that treatment has now radically improved to incorporate the 5 essential signs of Shinto metallurgy and diet and blah, 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 real answer, no.
Oh, okay, right. Can you make it better?
Well, we do need to arrest the rate of the disease, which we will do with chemotherapy drugs.
Fuck, like in cancer?
No, there's no radiation involved. Just cytotoxic medication.
Oh, shit. I think I better talk to girlfriend about this, shit. Will that fix it?
It'll stop it getting much, much worse.
Alright, Okay.
Right, sign here, 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 and here. Now, it's very important that you don't have any children for at least 7 years, and if for any reason your urine starts to turn black, that you let us know. Okay, pick this lot up from the pharmacy. Thank you very much. Good day.
Nearly 2 years I was on the chemo. It had some fairly profound effects. I put on about 50 kilos. My hair fell out, except for a little bit left on my head. My eyes changed colour. The hair, when it grew back, changed density, shape, colour and texture. My bones changed shape, and my sense of taste and smell changed as well. So foods that I could eat before, nah, forget it. And foods that I didn't like, I still didn't fucking like. And essentially, I felt nauseous all the time, and basically my skin went green. So I, in order to combat these effects, and remember that I'm still trying to keep the comedy alive here, and that's kind of tricky, considering that as human beings, what we do when we've got someone who's sick and not dead is we push them to the edge of the tribe. It's not a personal thing, it's just human nature basically. We try and make it so that they don't infect the whole, yeah? So we push them out. So I'm weeding out the entire industry by looking like I'm about to die. And I've got these horrible braces on, which I find out 6 months, but no, it was 3 years later. Oh, there's no evidence that they work. Oh. So basically, I'm green. So I basically am not getting any gigs, and I need to continue to try and work. So I did 2 things straight away to be proactive about it. First thing I did was dye my hair a bright blue because it was rakish. And also it actually convinced people that my hair wasn't falling out. Basically it stopped, it gave the illusion that it wasn't falling out. And because it was blue, it stopped people looking at the green skin frame. The next thing I did was to develop a monumental drug habit. Now look, I dabbled fairly seriously in the drugs before this. I've always had a friend in drugs. Many's the time that I've been in a moral or ethical conundrum and I've gone, what would drugs do? And I've had bad times on drugs, you know, but I was weak. I'd lost the faith, or that last habit had seen me through. And so I, after much rigorous experimentation, decided that my pain-killing drug of choice, and it was all about the pain control. If I figured if I could control the pain, then I could continue working. And my drug of choice was codeine. If you take enough codeine, you can walk around on bloodied stumps. You shouldn't, but you can. And I've talked to health professionals about this, and we've all said that basically there needs to be a caveat about this. Do not try this at home. If you do, you will die. And it won't be a lovely rose on the chest death. It'll be a wah, screaming in hospital while your relatives come around for 2 days as your organs shut down, going, why did you do that? And they've developed weird accents. So basically, do not do this at home. You will die. It'll be fucked. At its peak, I was on 168 codeine tablets a day. That's quite a bit. And I am prepared to accept that I might have had a mild opiate addiction. Sure. If you need to reserve 45 minutes of your day so that you can impersonate one of those dipping glass birds to eat your drugs, then you might have a problem. It was clear that my life was starting to spin out of control. I couldn't get any gigs, I wasn't getting any money, my savings were blown away. I'd gone from the rockstar lifestyle to beneath pension because I couldn't get the pension for a year and a half because I couldn't prove that I was manky because I couldn't get to the frigging interview because I couldn't leave the house. It's funny, catch-22s. And so basically things weren't going well, and then I received a couple of pieces of information that really changed the way I did things.
Mr. C. O'Leary.
Okay, that's pronounced Claire.
Right. And how do you think it's all progressing?
Well, I'm kind of a little bit excited, Doc. I was watching the news the other day and I noticed that Daniel Johns of Silverchair fame, he's a rock star and has a lot of money, something I aspire to. He's got pretty much the exact same disease as me, and I noticed that he's on a brand new drug, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's called Remicade. I'm wondering if we can stream me onto that sooner rather than later.
Oh, no. You're far too advanced for Remicade. That needs to be administered early.
Oh, okay. And you've only just got it.
No, we've had it for quite some time. It's very effective. It does wonders. We've had patients go into complete remission within a month.
So why didn't you give it to me?
Oh, it's not yet out on the PBS.
And?
Well, we didn't think you could afford it.
To say that I was disappointed is a little bit of an understatement. I went home, I trashed a lot of stuff. Me and the cat didn't talk for 2 years after the bashing that we gave each other. The thing that really upset me is I'm a comic, I'm a comedian. We're giving each other benefits every 15 fucking minutes. There was one for me not 2 years ago. Fuck, half of you were there. It was a really excellent night, and we actually do take care of one another, so I could have accessed the cash. My parents had access to cash. Shit, my brothers were prepared to do bank jobs, but that was just for fun. And what happened in the end was I was very angry at myself because I'd let these fuckers cripple me. I hadn't arced up. I hadn't taken enough of a part of direction in my own treatment. I just basically bumbled along and let these people do it to me. You know, and letting someone do it to you is considered assault, not fun. And essentially, I decided then and there that I had to change the dialogue between me and rheumatology if we were ever going to get anywhere. What the fuck are you doing? How are you measuring it? And how the fuck is it working? Get off your ass, prick! Okay, so it didn't go over great, but I think we knew where we stood after that. Around that time also, I was on the steroids, and the steroids affected my mood very badly. And so, essentially, what happened next was I earned my very first code grey. It wasn't psychosis-induced, it wasn't drug-induced, it was a really seriously temper tantrum, me doing my nana. We'll reenact it for you now. See if you can pick where it happens. It's very subtle.
Right, this way, Mr. Salieri.
Okay. So it's pronounced Claire.
Yes, how's it all going?
Well, geez, let me think about that. I popped in today for a 12 o'clock appointment with you. It's now 4:30 p.m. We have this thing in the commercial entertainment industry where if you have an appointment at a time, you kind of have it at that time. Most of the time I was sitting next to a guy who'd shat himself. I've lost about $500,000 in lost earnings. My wife is looking at me with pity. My friends have stopped cracking gags about my mankydom. I don't know what masculinity is anymore. Lara Croft keeps on jumping off fucking buildings and I'm in pain 24 hours a day. So I would say monumentally fucked. How you doing?
Well, on the bright side, I'm very happy about your arthritis.
Okay, I don't know that we're getting across to one another the gravity of what's going on here. I am surprised that you would say that considering what I just told you.
Well, your actual disease is going very well indeed, and I'm very happy with it.
I'm in pain, excruciating pain, 24 hours a day.
Well, pain's not my problem. I don't do pain, I only do arthritis.
The court case was really, really quick. Yeah, Your Worship, guilty, sorry. And then I bailed. Essentially, my life had pretty much hit a nadir at that point in time. I was still thinking that I could probably get ahead in the comedy, and it just wasn't happening. And then a very kindly gentleman who's quite powerful in the industry sort of set me aside and said, your career's going nowhere, it's not going to go anywhere. You can have a drug habit, you can be a really annoying prick, you can be a pedophile, but you cannot get sick in the entertainment industry. And there's wisdom in that, that's true. So basically I drifted for a little bit, not knowing what to do, and I still kept on chipping away. I thought maybe I'd get there. At the time my prospects were pretty limited, and it was at that point in time that I figured, me being such a shining example of manhood, that I would ask my girlfriend to marry me. And fuck me, she said yes. So I head down to the GP to see if I can't sort myself out with some kind of pain meds for the day.
Adrian!
Hey! How you doing, man?
What kind of stuff?
Yeah, right. Yes, right.
Yeah, right.
Actually, not too bad. Good,
Yeah?
bad, good, yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
Things are,
Yep.
things are going up and down. I've basically got some good news.
Yeah?
I'm getting married.
Oh, well done, you!
Thank you very much.
This is the lovely Benny we're talking about,
It
yeah?
is indeed.
Nice one.
Thank you, sir. And it's actually about that I've come to see you.
Right. Well, when a daddy and a mummy love each other...
Well, I need pictures.
Oh, what? No internet?
Oh, okay.
Excuse me, Betty's not pregnant, is she?
No. I've got a couple of years to run on the chemo thing. Yep.
Stick with that, mate. It can be some nasty years, eh?
I believe you. I was actually coming in to see you because I've talked to rheumatology already, and they said come see you. On the day I'd like to walk down the aisle, not lurch like some kind of Quasimodo beast. So I was thinking that maybe I could get some decent painkillers off you for the day.
Right. Adrian, what you need is not more drugs. You need less. Buddy, you've got a problem. You have to face up to that.
Well, yeah, I fucking do have a problem, and it's rheumatoid arthritis, and no one seems to be fucking able or freaking willing to do any fucking thing about it.
Oh, not quite fair, that, is it, mate? Because you had some chemo to stop the course of the disease. Now, that worked.
Yeah.
And you've also had a lot of expensive therapy at rehab at Royal Melbourne.
Yeah, that's true. But I got kicked out of that.
Yeah, because you had a blue with the rehab doctors. Who saw that coming?
That's fair.
And what's this about motorised wheelchair race?
Okay, context. Context. Think morale building exercise and be au fait with minor cosmetic damage to maybe no more than 4 chairs and patients. Okay. And you had to be there. You had to be there.
Right. Oh, festival's coming up. You got a showing?
No, I didn't get a gig this year.
Ah, okay.
But I did get invited to the big party afterwards.
Right, Adrian, promise me one thing.
What's that?
This year,
Yes.
do not take 3 eckies and go dancing all night. It took me nearly a month to put you back together after last time, yeah?
Hand on my heart, doctor friend of mine, I will not take 3 eckies and go dancing.
Good man.
And I kept my promise to that kindly and good GP. I did not take 3 eckies and go dancing. I took 4 eckies and went dancing, and then 3 more and walked home. It was all reach for the lasers. And wandering home and saying, hello people going to work, because it's on a Sunday night, you know, on a Monday morning everyone's coming in their suits and I look like 4 days of bad news. And on the tram they're going, please don't talk to me, scary guy. I'd gone home, I'd got in, I'd done everything right, okay? And this is the injustice of it all, I'd done everything right. I'd shut the curtains, I'd dimmed the lights, I put a protective doona on my head. I had put on a nature documentary, I had sung the song to the sun. Oh, I'm the sorest, loneliest boy in all the world. The sun hates me. It's personal. I had even grabbed myself a bowl of ice cream with sliced banana and Barocca sprinkled on the top. When a terrible apparition turned up.
Whoa, I'm a ghost of Ekis, past, present and future. Whoa.
Terrible apparition. Fuck off and kill Tiny Tim.
No, I've come to warn you to change your ways before it's too late.
What?
You're not adapting to your new reality and you've become a drug pig.
I've always been a drug pig.
Yeah, well now you're a waste one.
Okay.
Oh, be that as it may, I'll give you 2 months to think about it. Whoa.
2 months? 2 months? 2 months? For one little bender on the amphetamines. 2 months! It was terrible. For the first 2 weeks I couldn't actually stand up. I was crawling around drinking water out of the bath. The fiancé by this point was going, fuck yeah, you did it to yourself. And 2 months later I actually managed to get out to the letterbox. Oh man. And I did actually start to think about what the hell was I going to do with my life, and so I did decide to retire from the stage because it's a young man's game and a healthy man's game and I just wasn't cutting it. Thing is, I committed, and there comes a point in every comedian's life when they go, this is the thing that I'm going to do and I'm going to put everything into it. Now the day job stuff that I could do was all physical, was all manual labour stuff like kitchen handing or ditch digging and stuff like that, and I always enjoyed that stuff, but I couldn't do it anymore. You can't magically become an accountant overnight. I had no money to go to school. I had no resources to go and get trained in anything. The only thing I could do was sit in front of a computer all day and get free tutorials to learn how to make CGI pictures. You know, maybe I could get into some animation with, you know, Mr. Blobby's big penis. And, you know, you can take the long way around. What I do is I tape pencils to my fingers and an eraser to my thumb, and then I could like, oh, on the keyboard all day, and then wait for my fiancé to come back to untape me, which was weird when I had to go to the toilet. It's like, okay. And essentially, I had a big think about it and I decided to retire. I hadn't told anyone this when a very good mate of mine came up and said, why don't you direct my show? And I went, yeah, because then I could play without having to physically go and do the thing. I could sit there and go, do that, you bastard, act, or I'll kill you. And it was good, you know. It was like my megalomania was like really satisfied and my ego was being stroked all the time. Sweet. And okay, so like performing comedy is like jumping into an abyss, building wings on the way down and then soaring out on wings of fire and you get like laughs and cheers, you know, it's fantastic. Directing comedy is like the chariot race in Ben-Hur. You know, you get all these stallions with minds like herded cats and you get them together and you strap them up like you bridle them and then put them on a carriage and they go, you're going that way, you bastards, whip, whip, whip. And then you like race around and you get the reins and you fucking tie up and hang on for dear frickin' life. And then you race along on the minds of these young comics, which is just like really powerful. And if any other show comes up next to you, you get the spikes out. Fuck off. It's wonderful. It's really fulfilling. It's really amazing. And I was back. I was truly back. I was back in the industry I loved. I was getting respect. People were calling me again. It was fucking marvellous. I was getting money. I was getting work, I was getting all of the kind of fulfilling things that a guy could get, and I was truly, truly enjoying myself. And it was so powerfully good that I decided to make my own small business. I was going to make a small production company. I'd lined up staff, I'd lined up even a place, I'd lined up some projects, we had money coming in straight away. I'd lined up all the people that we'd need and all the affiliations. It was wonderful. 2008, January, I'm in there, we're watching videos with my buds, and I get an itch on my scrotum, like a bite. And I'm sort of just a bit itchy, and I notice it swelled just a little bit, and not a big deal, so we're having fun. I go to bed. I wake up in the morning, my scrotum has swollen to the size of a grapefruit. So immediately I wake up my wife and alert her to my magnificent new scrotum. Check this out. And I then announce to her proudly, if this is like this on Monday, I will visit the doctor on Tuesday. And she says to me, we're going to the fucking ER right now. And we get in there and I think this is bullshit because we're going to be there 6 hours, get 2 Panadols and get told to fuck off home. No. By the time we get there, my scrotum's swollen to the size of a cantaloupe. Within 3 hours, I'm upstairs looking at 45 doctors, $250,000 worth of doctor. While we go through this, I'd like you to keep in mind that it costs $7 million to keep me alive through this adventure. Think about that. And I'm talking to $250,000 worth of doctors, 45 of them, and they're saying scary things like necrotizing fasciitis, which is the best comedy disease name fucking ever, until you get it and then it's fucked. It means flesh-eating bug. I'm getting 45 doctors and they're all staring at my nads. Your shyness burns away pretty quick. And they're saying things like Fournier's gangrene. I'm doing you a solid here. Do not look that up on Google Images. If you do, give it a bit of that. Nasty. Anyway, the very next thing that happens is one of these interns is showing off to another intern whom he'd very much like to put his penis into, and is showing off, and he basically goes, we're very lucky to see this in a live patient. Usually we only get to see the post-mortem slides. That right there is a corridor conversation. Not a bedside conversation, but a fucking corridor conversation. And so I'm giving a bit of Jesus, and then I think, okay, it's all good. I'm going, this is very painful, may I have some morphine? They say yes. Oh God, I'm in trouble now. Next thing that happens is one of the surgeons comes up and asks me a question. It's a fairly serious question. I don't know how it would have gone if I'd have answered differently.
Adrian, I'm going to be one of your surgical team. Mate, you've got a big, bad, long-term fight ahead of you, and it might take you like up to a year to recover. Now, are you up for that?
If I could take it on, yeah, I can do that.
Okay, well, what happens next is we'll take you through to surgery. You'll be out of it for about 6 hours all up. When you come out, you'll be in intensive care. From there, we'll take you through to the ward. Okay, see you when you wake up.
Okay, thanks. So, next thing that happens is a junior doctor comes in and she says, oh, does he need a catheter? And I'm going, well, fucking he's right here and he can fucking hear you, and no. I'm pissing just fine. And she goes, oh, can I do it? Because that'll be my 5 and I'll be qualified. Again, that's a corridor conversation. So she comes over and then grabs the biggest pipe in the wall of my dick and goes, jams it in there, and I'm going, there's lots of flashing and strobe lights, or maybe that was just me. I've got the shits and I decide to go downstairs for a cigarette because I've got penicillin here and lots of other antibiotics on the little trees there in my bag, which doesn't accessorise with anything. So downstairs I go for this cigarette and I have my smoke and I'm still shitting, and I'm coming back and I meet the surgeon coming the other way and he says, the fuck are you doing? And I'm going, smoke, catheter bad. And he says, I've come downstairs to cut you now. And I'll go, now? I thought you meant public hospital now, like 4 hours. And he goes, no. We're talking flick to helicopter patient for you, emergency surgery now. I'm going, oh, right, 500 grand, by the way. I'm going, shit. Go upstairs, comedy of errors, up, down, anaesthetic in, blink asleep, blink awake, as advertised. I'm up at the ward. I'm in intensive care. Go up to the ward. I look over through the window and there's the old dental hospital there, the old building there. It's dilapidated now. Tar paper's come off the roof and it's flapping around the vent pipes that have come through the roof, the plumbing. and I couldn't for the life of me remember the word for penguin, so I was calling them flappy dogs. Check out the flappy dogs. There are no flappy dogs. Fucking check them out. They're just there. Look through the window. There's flappy dogs. There's no such thing as flappy dogs. Fuck me. There are flappy dogs over there. They're all nodding at one another like they know a little secret that I don't know. And I go, for fuck's sake, flappy dogs. At no point do I think this is weird behaviour. And then I go, can I have a drink of water, please? And I go, no, because you might have to go back to surgery. And I go, oh, okay. And in that case, may I have a drink of water, please? And I go, no, because you might have to go to surgery. Can I have a drink of water? No. May I have a drink of water? No. I have a drink of water? No. And I'm smart, right? I'm real smart. So basically I go, right, wait for shift change. Shift change comes, the new nurse comes on and I go, have I ever told you how I admire nurses? And you go, no, I'm always impressed with the technical hands of nurses, trying fucking their dance fingers over machines that doctors look at and go, make that go, and fuck off. Actually, it reminds me, I got, there was a mention when I was being dressed at one point, oh, you're the guy who thanks everyone. And I go, what? Well, you're the guy who thanks the nurses and the cleaners. And I go, well, yeah. Yeah, no, they're really happy with you. I'm going, well, why? Because that's not different, it's fucking normal. You should thank nurses and cleaners. And they go, no one thanks nurses and fucking no one looks at cleaners. And I'm going, where are these people's fucking mothers? And then at some point I'm having this conversation, the guy next to me who is not well liked by anyone goes, oh, you don't have to thank them. They're getting paid to look after you. I'm going, I'm fucking not get paid to look after a cunt like you. It annoyed shit out of me. And look, when I got out of immediate danger, I was fucked for like months. And for the first 2 months, I couldn't actually move. I had to be physically moved by these nurses. And when you've shut yourself and someone's got to physically roll you over and clean your entire body by hand and then dry you up and then change your bed 5 times a day, those people you thank. Anyway, so this nurse comes in, I'm trying to butter her up, and I'm going, look, when you're not busy, just when you've got 5 minutes to go and scratch yourself, can I, grab a, sneaky glass of water, please? Hey, it's not a big deal. She goes, no, why not? It's written down. Damn you, literacy! Next thing that happens is I go to sleep, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, sharp as a bell, sharp as a bell. None of this next sequence thing seems odd to me. I am talking to 2 areas of my brain I don't usually get access to. I feel like I'm a passenger inside my own mind. I've never heard of the K-hole before. My first bit of brain says, okay, she's just left, the nurse has left. We need to cut ourselves out and then go and get a drink of water. The other one basically says, we'll grab this pair of nail clippers and do that. I've got more wires and tubes on the fucking space shuttle and they all get cut out and I'm going, should we be doing this? And my brain turned to me and said, well, you had 12 hours and you fucked it, so we're getting the water. I walk up to the bathroom, I drink about 6-8 litres, 25 million litres of water. My stomach's distended, I'm sloshing as I walk. And I'm thinking, cool, smoko. So I'm on my way out and I haven't noticed that my testes are hanging down outside my body. And the nurses did, however, and they grabbed me and then put me back into bed and then connected everything up and sectioned me, which means you're crazy for a day. And then I woke up in the morning to be phoned. I was tied up to talk to a doctor, and you're always socially at a disadvantage when you're tied up talking to someone. Hey doctor, what's going on?
Well, it seems like you've had a wacky psychotic episode on the ketamine.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. How'd the operation go? How much of my scrotum did you have to take off?
Well, there's none left. Look, you've brain damage, so there'll be bits and pieces you won't remember.
Oh, okay. Am I having a wacky psychotic episode now?
No, mate.
Oh. Well, what happens next?
Well, we sew you up as best we can. We'll put your testes in your legs to save them. and we'll graft over the big hole on your thigh.
Thanks. What starts to become evident is I don't have the full story. Basically, I thought I was out that afternoon, right? I was told the operation lasts 6 hours. In fact, it lasted 16 hours. It fucked up halfway through. They were doing a brilliant job. In fact, what happened was they nicked an artery as I was going, and I bled out. They sewed it back up straight away and then filled me up in zippity-zap. I was good. And that sounds bad, but in fact there's so much blood flow going to your genitalia that the fact that they only did it once is like fucking miraculous. It's like really, really good work. The thing is they tested that blood and it had gone septic, which meant I was in a bit of trouble. And the infection had spread to my leg, and they basically were cutting strips off to try and stop the infection. They beat it. They did, but it took fucking forever. Frankly, I was in a lot of trouble. And they decided to basically stick me in a coma to stop me succumbing to the shock of the thing. I was in a coma for 6 days. My blood had gone septic and my organs were liquefying. Essentially, I was slowly dying and there wasn't much anyone could do about it. My wife was told to start organising my funeral because it wasn't likely that I'd make it through the night. She replied that, hey, he's an organ donor, you know. That's positive. Anyway, it was already decided that I wasn't going to be resuscitated because they decided that a guy that had virtually no oxygen running to his brain, because septic blood doesn't carry a lot of oxygen, virtually no oxygen was probably going to wake up a vegetable if he woke up at all. So they decided not to resuscitate, and essentially my heartbeat went from once every 20 seconds to once every 10 seconds, and eventually it stopped. And for the second time that week, I died. Doctor comes over the death certificate, reads off the clock, it's 22:49, and then my heart monitor goes beep on its own. Very quietly, very, very intermittently, my heart's gone back. There was no jubilation, there was no running around, there was no screaming in the intensive care ward. The only thing that was said was by one of the intensive care nurses who said, self-starter. Monumentally cool individuals. Even the doctor goes, well shit, if he's going to have a go, we might as well. Right, if it was me, I would have lost my tiny fucking mind. I would have gone, zombie, cut its fucking head off, running around like anyway. Basically, slowly but surely, I started to get better, and I got strong enough to regain consciousness. I regained consciousness, I go upstairs, and something that confused me was that the psychologists were asking me literally a couple of hundred questions, and I couldn't work out why. They said, who are you, Adrian? Where are you, Royal Melbourne? Whose Prime Minister is? Robert Menzies, and there's communists everywhere! Don't fuck around. Joy Kill, it's Kevin Rudd, you just got to like it. And basically I had suffered brain damage, and the brain damage I'd suffered was in the centre of the brain that controls emotional control, which I haven't used since I was like 9. Could have happened anywhere, sight, hearing, memory, cognition, personality, fucking anything, but no. It was either that bit or the bit that controls need to scratch ass was the two bits I would have nominated for don't need it, and that is the luckiest part of the story. And so I was more emotional, like you'd fucking notice. Anyway, I recover. It takes a year. It's my year without pants. They put my testes in my legs to save them. It fucking worked. Then a year later they pop them out again and they make me a new scrotum with a flap in my leg. Then they hook me up with the Royal Melbourne Pain Service. And the Pain Service is they're kind of magic, because what they do is they organise to teach you how to manage your pain without taking a shitload of drugs, which is probably something I could use. And so I go in there and I hook up with them, and they have all this really full-on strategies. The first thing you do is you get a piece of paper with an outline of human body on it, and they say, write down all your injuries, damage, and illnesses. And I'm looking at them going, well, no, there's not enough fucking paper, I can't. And I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? Do I do a top 20? Do I just do the things you can see? And I'm thinking, actually, no, the best thing to do is show them. So that's what we'll do now.
Ladies and gentlemen, what will occur now is a brief demonstration of the injuries, insults and damage suffered by the patient. This will take 3 parts. First is a 3D immersive experience, which you may find a little confronting, as it does involve nudity and massive medical scarring. If that's the case, we have a slightly less confronting 2D experience. If the presence of male genitalia there still upsets you, we have a calming visual aid. See the pussycat playing with